Today we're looking at applying weathering pigments to our model surfaces. Hi there, Chris here with another quick tip for you all. In this video, we are going to take a look at applying weathering pigments for our tabletop miniatures in Wargaming. To get us started, we're going to use some isopropyl alcohol, 70% or higher, and a little container and something inert that won't react with the alcohol. Also, a synthetic brush, any old kind. I wouldn't use your good sable hair brushes for this particular stuff. Dark yellow ochre. This is from Vallejo and as well as burnt sienna. Now, there are many different companies that produce pigments, dry powdered pigments, for use in modeling miniatures and what have you. And feel free to use whichever. Usually my telltale for good pigment is that when you tap the jar, when you have the lid open, and you can see almost like smoke coming out of the jar as the pigments are floating around in the air, that's how you know you have a nice fine pigment. So as you can see, we dip our brush into the jar of pigment and begin stippling our way across. And in typical fashion, when using pigments, it is often for replicating dirt, dust, rust, patina, anything of that nature. Typically, you are not using pigments to do a majority of your effects on the miniatures, such as highlighting, shading, that kind of thing. The pigments are typically for final effects, and it is really good in that regard. Once we've applied pigment to the model surface, I tap the excess off and then give it a sharp blow of breath from my own mouth to knock the excess pigment off. And as you can see, there's very little on that surface now, but that would just rub right off if you were just simply to start playing with it on the tabletop. I'm gonna grab another brush here. It's a number 1 Artis Opus, and I'm gonna use some of that isopropyl alcohol. Now, typically whenever I'm using this in this fashion, which is usually like creating rust effects or anything like that, I typically touch the brush to the broader surface and allow the alcohol to bleed through the surface, through the capillary action on the surface tension of the miniature. Now, one thing to bear in mind here is that I forgot that I had sealed this model way back when I initially painted it, and so the alcohol is going to react with that varnish. Not a huge deal. Once it's dry, of course, you can see how the pigment has been knocked way back. It's still present. You can still see it in some places where it was applied somewhat heavily, but you can see also there's a little bit of fogging and frosting you see on the upper portions where the alcohol was touching the surface. Not a huge issue, but for anybody else who's had this effect happen to them, well, that's kind of what happens. Is it's the underlayers, and it's kind of melting back that underlayer. So I'm applying a second layer. Now, again, you can apply this even when the alcohol is still on the surface and it's still wet. And in fact, it will help build up a thicker layer of the pigment. Again, it's kind of like paint. Pigment is essentially just paint, it's just without a binder in it. Once I'm happy with that next effect, we can also come in and seal this on the model surface as well. And to do that, I'm just simply going to use a Patriot 105, spraying it around less than 20 psi, and I'm also going to use some Lamian medium. Now, Lamian medium is just a regular old medium, but it also can act as a matte varnish as well. Put a couple drops into my airbrush and then begin laying this on. Again, spraying at about 20 psi straight in at the model, not too heavy. I'm working the brush back and forth fairly quickly here as I work my way around. You can see some areas there got a little bit touched and nicked, but once this layer is down, you'll see how it fixes up a lot of that frosting that was occurring on the back of the legs. You can see it looks somewhat thick, but it actually isn't. It's just because I was using up the majority of what was left in the airbrush to seal this. And once it's sealed, you can see here now that we have a lot more. Now, this is the thing about using pigments on a model, is that when you are layering this up, you can build some great effects, but you will have to apply it more than once. It's not like applying a heavy layer of paint or anything like that. Next, we're going to use dark yellow ochre. Now, here's another way we can use it. We're just going to use the pigment as well as Lamian medium, or any of the gloss or matte mediums that you have on hand from Vallejo, scale 75, that kind of stuff. Here, I'm just taking a fairly generous amount of the brush. That was actually too much. And I'm going to begin mixing this into the Lamian medium. And guess what? Yes, this is just simply making a yellow ochre paint. That's essentially what this is. And as you can see, as I work with it on the palette, it's going to flow just like a normal paint. In fact, if I had mixed this pigment with contrast medium, it would have acted just like contrast paint. An opaque color, of course, but because pigments are not transparencies, they are opaque colors. So, you can apply it. Now, again, when many people are talking about weathering, it's all about, oh, you got to use these weathering powders and this is the best stuff to use in those instances, but it's not really the case, because you can simply achieve these similar results with just thinning out your paint. Oftentimes with these pigment products, they make life a little bit easier or a little bit more deliberate on what kind of effect you want to go for on a finish on a model. And using weathering pigments on miniatures for wargaming has really kind of just come in as a result of the scale modeling community and going for realism, with the model trains and things of that nature, World War II planes and stuff like that. Once it's dry, you can see how, it has a really interesting look. It looks like a nice dusty boot. And again, we can build this up more and more, but this is the typical fashion in which I apply pigments for creating various effects of patina, rust. I use a particular way of going about it, but going about it using to create dust effects and dusty boots and that kind of thing. This is really the typical way I go about it. And with pigments, do not be afraid to give it a try. Do not be afraid to fail at this. Do not be afraid to make a mess as well, because yes, you are going to make a mess when using pigments. That is one of the many minuses of using pigments on a model surface, because the pigment just kind of gets everywhere, and especially if you are not using any kind of protection or you're just kind of willy-nilly about it, it'll get on your fingers, get on your clothes, get all over the place, and it will be a big old pain. Big thank you to my patrons for their support and continued support. Big thank you to all of you here on YouTube clicking that membership button. Huge thank yous. Take care of your brushes, they'll take care of you, and I will see you in the next quick tip.